Hello everyone, my name is Angela Faidley and I own a small art studio in a little town called Macungie, Pennsylvania, and it is near Allentown. I not only run my own studio, but I am also in charge of a nonprofit called Mandy's Lunchbox. I'm going to show you a little tin here. Mandy's Lunchbox is in loving memory of my daughter Amanda, and it is an organization that gives restaurant gift cards to adults that are fighting cancer. So we give people things that they can go for a treat before their treatment or after their treatment when they're feeling good. So that's what Mandy's Lunchbox does. It's a great organization, and I am proud to be doing this in my daughter's name. Now, you probably are wondering, how in the world do you live in Macungie or Allentown area and you are painting with people from Kelly's Angels in Baltimore? Well, through my daughter, when she was in Texas, she had a wonderful doctor by the name of Dr. Ferris. And Dr. Ferris just was so kind to her, and I always thought when we carried on this nonprofit that I would find him and we would help his patients. So when I went to go find him in Austin, he was gone. So with a little tracking, with a little detective work, I found him right there in Baltimore. He introduced me to a wonderful woman named Paula Silverman. So that's why I am here. I try to send these little gift boxes of gift cards to Kelly's Angels every other month. And then also, Paula knew that I had an art studio and that I do artwork with children on videos, and she asked if I would ever do it with people there. So I said, sure. So long story short, here I am to paint with you today. Now, you're going to need a couple things. You can, when this is on video, this is the nice thing about videos, you can get your list and get your things and then come back, turn it on, and actually do the painting. So here's what you're going to need. You are going to need a canvas. Now, it could be any size canvas, whatever you want to work on. If you have something at home, use what you have. Don't go out of your way to buy stuff. Art should not be expensive to do. So get a canvas. This one is 11 by 14. Sometimes I work much smaller with an 8 by 10. Sometimes I work much bigger. So it's kind of up to you, but I thought this was a good size to do for the video. You are going to need, I got to get close here, you're going to need a pencil, a nice sharp pencil, because we're going to have to draw. And then you're going to need a paintbrush. Now, you can use a big paintbrush, you can use a little paintbrush, you can buy one of each, or if you have them, that's even better. Like I said, you shouldn't have to go out and spend a lot of money to create art. So paintbrushes are good. You'll need a cup, any kind of cup, put water in it so we can wash our brushes out. And you are going to need paper towels to dry those brushes on. And you're going to need a paper plate to put your paint on. Now, if you don't have a paper plate, use a glass plate. Believe it or not, acrylic paint is what we're going to be using. Can be washed out of under water and it'll clean up right off of your plate. So if you don't have a paper plate, don't worry about it. Use any plate you've got. Now, as far as the paint goes, I don't want you to spend, this is my theme, don't spend a lot of money. But you don't need to spend a lot of money. Buy these little tiny bottles of paint. They're about 79 cents. You can get them at any craft store. I buy mine from Michael's. If you have a Hobby Lobby by you, they sell them. Walmart sells them. Don't pay over 79 cents. That's about the price. So I'm going to tell you the colors you're going to need. Now, you're going to need, let's start out. We're going to do, oh, by the way, we're going to do a sunflower today. I thought a sunflower would be fun, bright, and cheerful, and that's what the ladies voted on last time we painted. So you're going to need a yellow. You will need a white, yellow, white. Oh, black is always a real basic color we need for most everything. And then we'll need a red. And if not a red, get an orange. An orange might actually be better than red, okay? Because red, you're never sure what color it's going to be. And then you'll need a green and a blue. So, blue, green, black, white, yellow, and orange would be better, I think. So, that's it. Don't spend a lot of money on them. If you don't have those colors, if you are missing a blue and say, I have a green, use the green instead. Doesn't matter. Whatever. It's art, you know, is whatever you do with it, however you make it. If you only have pinks and purples at your house, do a pink and purple sunflower. Be creative. Be creative. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to draw a sunflower on this canvas. Now, hopefully, I'm going to try to tip this down a little bit. You'd rather see the canvas than see me. We're going to paint a little bit, then we're going to let it dry, and then we're going to go back in and paint a little bit more. okay? We're going to draw the sunflower. We're going to do just a half a circle here. And I'm going to try to press hard. When you do it, don't press hard. I want you to just do lightly so you don't see it. Hopefully you'll be able to see that. I'm going to move it up a little bit closer while I'm drawing. So we got a half circle right there. Then we're going to do some little petals. And I'm going to do, oh my gosh, I'm digging my pen right in here. 1, 2. Let's do another one really close to it. These are little tiny petals. They are not all touching. They're just kind of there. Now, the one nice thing about doing this on video too is if I go too fast for you, stop it and go back and catch up. All right, so I've got some little petals there. I'm just putting the ones down here. And then I'm gonna make some bigger petals behind them. So we'll go right out here and we'll make one that maybe isn't, I'm afraid I'm gonna poke a hole through my canvas here. So there's a bigger one. And then out here, a bigger one. And you could do these any way you want. If you say, I really don't like them like that, I just want one set of petals, then do it your way. Alrighty, I'm going to do a petal there. Let's do a few more here. This is very odd drawing at such an angle. My arm is in kind of crazy feeling. But I want you to be able to see this. Now I'm going to show this to you close up. Alright, I got this so tight on here so it won't move. But this is kind of what we're doing. So there's little tiny petals along the circle, and then there's bigger petals out here. We're leaving a lot of room over here. So we're going to put our sky over there. Now, I am going to put that down like that. Now, on your plate, I want you to grab the yellow, the orange, the brown, and the black. Now, I put about a quarter size on there, only about a quarter, but as it sits, it gets bigger and bigger. So, whatever. I'm going to use, you know what, I'm going to use my smaller brush. But remember, use whatever brush you have. I'm going to take my yellow, and I am going to paint my petals. Now, when I paint petals, I tend to paint one at a time because I like them to be different. Sometimes people go in and paint all the petals in, but I don't know. I just like to paint one at a time. That way I know what I'm doing. I don't lose track. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the orange color and I am going to put it on the next petal behind it. I didn't even clean my brush. So I put a little bit of wherever the other petal is touching. And now I'm going to go back in and dip into my yellow. And it's going to be kind of an orangey yellow now. And this you could play with. Acrylic paint is really nice because when it is wet, it blends beautifully. And when it's dry, you can paint right over the top of it. So that's, if you make a mistake, don't try to get a paper towel and fix it up or anything. It's just easier just to let it go. All right, so now that one is very, very orange color. I got a little orange on my brush, so I'm going to put a couple little things here, couple veins or whatever in the flower. Now let me move it up closer, even though it's harder for me to paint this way. And I am going to keep a paper towel close by because I don't want all that paint on there. I don't really need to wash it. I just need to clean it off a bit. Okay, I'm going to do another petal here. And so hopefully you're painting along with me because nothing is more boring than just watching somebody else paint. Now I might find I have this one too orange too. So maybe I'll pull a little of that orange right up into this outside one. You just want these to look different. Otherwise, it's just going to be like you could paint the whole thing yellow and be done with it. But what you're trying to do is get a little depth to it. So I'm going to put a little bit of orange on the outside of that, and maybe some in here. I might even take a little tiny bit of my brown and make some brown in here. Play around with it. Everybody's will look different because everybody paints very differently. Alrighty, I'm gonna do this big one more yellow. And what we're gonna do is, usually when I paint, I always tell people, paint the farthest thing away from you right up to the closest thing to you. This time I'm breaking my own rules. Usually I'd be painting this whole background, but this time I thought yellow is a color that does not cover over very well. So if I got blue into that, you would still see the blue through the yellow. So I thought, let me get the yellow on here And that way, it will have its place and I won't mess up. Oh, I put too much orange on that one, but that's okay. I'm gonna move the orange over here. I'm just gonna spread it around, skip one, spread it around. I might even put some down over here. That's a nice thing about acrylic. You can jump around a little bit. I'm gonna show this to you close up too, so you can see. Hopefully you can see anyway, but there we go. So I'm just slowly creeping my way around this flower. And we're filling in. Now in my studio, I have all kinds of classes. With COVID, it's slowed down a little bit though. I don't have as many classes. The classes I have only have, just a few people in them because, whatever, I don't want to get anybody sick coming in here either. So I try to keep my classes pretty small. But people still come out. We wear our mask and all that, so. All right, I am getting here. You just want to make sure everyone is a little different than the other one. Now I'm going to take my brown, I'm going to go in between some of these bottom ones. See how I'm making little pointed things? It gives it almost like a little shadow in there. Then I can use a little brown and put it up here. Now I'm going to show this to you kind of closer because I don't know if you can see. See how I leave all the colors? And like where the orange is, I just let it sit there. I try not to blend it in all the way. And then see how I've been every so often I go in and I put a few little bits of color in there, like this little veins in the flowers. Okay, now I'm gonna slide this back in here. I've got it down so tight so it won't move around on me. Sometimes when I paint, my canvas is going every which way. Alrighty. Just try to make it wherever there is a line where a petal touches another petal, change the color a little bit. Because otherwise we could just paint it all yellow and it would be just a yellow sunflower. But we're trying to give it some depth and texture here. Now when I paint around my side. I pretend like my canvas, I painted something then wrapped it around the canvas. So I always paint my edges. All right, we're almost getting here. Hopefully you're keeping up with me and you're playing around with each petal and adding colors. There we go. I'm adding some more browns in there in between just to give it that dark look, like there's some darkness between those petals. And you can get a little sloppy in here because we're going to be painting that black and brown cover very, very well anything that's on top of or under them. All right, I don't have enough shadowing, I don't think, on that one. So I'm going to put a little orange and a little orange down there. You could play around. You could take a lot longer than I'm taking. I'm trying to go a little faster just so you're not sitting here watching me forever. Alrighty. Now we are going to take a small break for a couple reasons. Number one, it lets this part dry a little bit so we won't get colors where we don't want them. And also, I don't have a cameraman when I do this. This is my little phone. I put my phone on a little easel and on a tripod and I paint along. And so I don't have any professional photographers, so my phone will only go about 20 minutes before it turns off on me. And I hate to be in the middle of painting and it turns off. So look at my plate. I'm getting pretty messy here. I like to mix them a little bit on the plate, but not too much. I'm one that just mixes when I put it right down on the canvas. But some people like to mix that color before so they know what color they're going to have. Not me. I just throw the colors on there and hope for the best. All right, we're down to our last couple petals here. These ones are the hard ones because they're down against the bottom. All right, another one. And one more. Just depending on how many petals you drew. And if we were all together, everybody's would look differently too because everybody paints differently, number one. And number two, everybody draws differently. So you might have a ton of sunflowers or sunflower petals, and somebody else might only have a few. I'm going to go back in and add some orange in here. So just play around with it. Blend those colors. Remember, like I said, when it's wet, it blends beautifully. Beautifully. Okay. I think I might like it, but like I said, you could tweak it up as much as you want. If you've gotten too much orange in there that your sunflower is really just turning into an orange flower, you can let it dry a little bit and add some more color to it. Or even try to put the yellow on top of it. Now I got way too much on that one. All right, so I am going to let this dry for a few minutes. We're going to come back and do the center of the circle, and then we are going to do the background. And the background's fun. It's going to be kind of a little bit like a Starry Night, if you know Van Gogh's Starry Night. Oh, right behind us is Van Gogh's Starry Night. Can you tell that's one of my favorite paintings? I did this big wall. It was in my studio, and it's just a big empty wall, and I thought, oh, I got to do something with it. It can't just sit here like that. So I made Starry Night, my favorite painting, on there. Now, of course, it's not anything compared to Van Gogh's, but it's fun and it's bright and it's a great background for this kind of thing. All right. You know what? Before I take a break, let's just go ahead. Let's just live life dangerously. I'm going to get a little bigger brush now, but you don't have to. I am going to do the center of this. I said we're going to take a break, but I still have a little more time. So I am going to paint the center of our sunflower brown. I'm going to go around the edge. It's really looking like a sunflower now. Okay. And we'll go down here. And like I said, I like to paint the sides of my canvas because it looks very finished, and I am not one to buy frames. I am just, I like them just the way they are. I put a hanger on the back and hang them up just like this. All right, so now we have the brown in there. Okay, here comes the fun part. I am going to take my brush, I'm going to put it in water. That's something we should do when you take your break. Put your brush in water and then clean it up. All right, now I'm going to take my smaller brush and I'm going to dip it in the black, and I'm going to kind of outline what I just did in brown. I'm just going to make an outline all the way around. It does not have to be perfect. Flowers are not perfect. And you're going to go around and around and around like that. All right. Now we've got a line. I don't want it to look like that much of a line, so I'm going to wipe my brush off a little bit. Then I'm just going to go in and I'm going to tap it. And I'm going to bring it out into the middle of the flower a little. Kind of makes it so it looks more like the seeds of a sunflower. I seem to be at a loss for words today. That's unusual for me. All right. There we go. See how awesome that looks? It gives it shading, texturing, and it just kind of makes it look more real. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to dip a little bit. I'm going to try to figure out where my center is. I'm going to think it's right about there. And then I'm going to do the center. I'm going to do the same thing. Just tap it around and make the center of my sunflower. Now you could play with this a lot if it's just not dark enough or whatever, or you see too much of the brown isn't dark enough, go back in, get a little brown. I don't even clean my brush. And then I'm tapping my brown so it has a texture too. Like it? I think it's looking pretty awesome. And if you get too much of the brown in there, go back and tap some black in there. But that is a very simple way to make a sunflower. Now I'm going to take a small squirt of white while I've got it, before our camera turns off for break. And I got a small squirt of white, and I'm going to take just a little of it and I'm going to put it up in here. And I'm going to put it just on the curve because I want it to look like the sun is hitting that part of the sunflower. And it even looks more real if you put this on there. Okay, everybody, put your brushes in the cup, and then we are going to give a 5-minute break, and we will be right back. So your sunflower looks great. Now we're going to do the background. Let it dry a little bit, and we will be back in 5 minutes. Make sure you put your brushes in water, clean them off. We'll see you soon. Okay, we're back. Now we are ready to do the blue background. I like to choose a very bright blue. That's just what I want to do. You could do any color background you want. If you don't have blue, you could use green. It doesn't matter. I have my painting all ready to go. I can touch this, so that means when I get over here, I won't blend colors I don't want to blend, because I don't want a green sky. And if I touched a wet yellow to a blue, I'd probably end up with green, and I don't want that. Now, I am going to lift my easel up a bit, just so I can move this around a little bit and get the top of it. I am going to take kind of my bigger brush, but that's up to you. And mine's kind of flat, which I like. I like working with a flat brush. And I'm going to go right beside my petals. And I'm going to take my time and do it and outline it first, kind of. And that way I can be a little messier as I get toward the edge, but I want to just kind of gently go around the edge. I can always touch up later, but it's always better to be neater as you're doing it. So I like that blue. It's really a deep blue. It's kind of what I like to do. I like the yellow and the blue together, but a yellow and a green look very good too. And I think I told you buy a green, because I was going to put a few leaves in here. But I don't think I'm going to. So if you happen to watch this video all the way through, you're going to see that I canceled the green. You don't have to buy green. So hopefully you watch the whole thing first to see what you're doing. Now, I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to think it's going to be a little easier to work from this side now. And that way I can get in here a little easier. Now, like I said, I have a studio in Macungie, and when COVID hit, I had a lot of children's classes scheduled, and I also had, I have birthday parties, lots of birthday parties. It's like a painting birthday party. The kids come and they paint, and they have pizza and juice boxes and popcorn, and we play games, they win prizes. It's the whole shebang. So I'm like the birthday queen in my area. But when COVID hit, there was so many children that I had to call and tell them that we couldn't have their birthday party or they couldn't come to their classes. So I was almost as heartbroken as they were. So then I sat around and I thought, well, what can I do to make it just a little easier? These kids are, you know, their school's been canceled and everything that they had planned is canceled, birthday parties. So I thought, what can I do? And I thought, you know what? I know art, so why don't I do something that would help them with art? So I decided that every day I would get on there and on the internet and do a how to draw painting or how to draw drawing on paper. I didn't want it to be anything that their parents had to go out and purchase something. So I made sure it was always could be done with markers or crayons or something that they had around their house. And I started out very simple. I'd teach them how to draw a ladybug or a little teddy bear or something like that. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'll be doing this for, 2-3 weeks maybe, and then we'll be back to normal. Well, as we all know, we're not back to normal even yet. So I did this, and I told the kids every day, not only did I draw, but I dressed up. So if I were to draw Mario Brothers, I dressed up as Luigi or something crazy. If I did Harry Potter, I dressed up as a witch. Sadly, I have an whole attic full of costumes. So I put them to very, very good use during COVID. So as I was doing this, I told the kids, I will draw with you, as it just kept going on and on. I said, I will draw with you until your summer vacation begins. So in Pennsylvania, it's around the first part of June, maybe the first week in June. So when I got to the first week in June, I thought, oh my gosh, if I just do this till the 22nd, I'll have done this 100 days. So that's what I did. I got on there every single day and I told them how to draw, or taught them how to draw a picture. And then I wore a crazy costume just to keep things light and fun for everybody. So they just, wouldn't miss their art classes at school and all that. So it was a lot of fun. But let me tell you, by the time I got to day 100, I was beat. I was like, oh my gosh. And then as I'm sitting here thinking, oh, it's all over, I'm not going to be doing it anymore, I thought, you know what? It doesn't have to be over. I can still do this on every Friday. So that's what I do every single Friday since, I think March 15th or 16th. I did it for 100 days, and now I'm doing it on Fridays. I still do it. I still have a drawing class online. I have like my own YouTube channel now. If you wanted to see it, you could go to Out of Our Minds Art Studio on YouTube, and it will take you there, and you could draw along with me every Friday. And there's 115 videos on there right now, so you could actually spend every day drawing, learning how to draw. And I have a lot of adults that join me. A lot of children, mainly children, and a lot of adults. And believe it or not, I have people as far away as Italy, Paris, Korea. I have kids following me from all over the world. It's crazy how big it got, but it has been an unbelievable joy to do. It was almost as good for me as it was for the kids. It gave me something, a purpose every day to get up and to do something and, put on makeup and try to not feel sorry for myself being locked in. And like I said, it was wonderful. So if you want to follow it, go ahead. You can learn how to draw all kinds of things. And they're geared for children, but you are welcome to join me any single day. I think this week now I'm starting Halloween. So I'm going to do the whole month in Halloween. So now my paint, as you can see close up, you can see all my brush strokes. Now this is kind of up to you what you want to do. You can leave those brush strokes. Sometimes I like them because I like it to look like a painting, and I like it to look, you see how I'm doing like X's? Because it kind of pulls up the paint in spots. So it looks more like a painting if you kind of do a crisscross and you let it see the white through it. If you really are a person that really just wants it solid black, solid blue, let it dry, and then you can go back and put solid blue on it. Now I'm going to put my paintbrush in my cup. I'm going to get one of my pointier brushes, and I'm going to use my white. I might even give myself another squirt. Everything's behind me now, sorry. Like I said, no technician here. It's just my phone and me, and I've been doing this for 115 days, so I'm getting kind of used to this this kind of way to paint and draw. All right, now we're almost done here, but what I want to do is I want to take some white. This is maybe the hardest part of the whole thing, or the part that you're going to say, oh, I don't know, it looks so good, I don't want to ruin it now. I'm going to take this and I'm going to make swirls, and I just put it down and swirl. And I don't worry too much if it disconnects or anything, I just let it be. And if you do this when it's wet, it's going to turn light blue by the time you get to the end of your swirl. If you let your blue canvas dry, then it will stay more white. And I just go around and around, and I don't even care that it's not perfect. But this just adds a little fun to it. It's like a sunflower in the wind or something. And you can make these any way you want. They could have tails go off of them. They could go off the thing. You could do them where there's only half of it. You're only seeing part of it. Have fun. Have fun. And I'm just going to keep making them till I think it's full enough. And it could be completely full. You could just do this any way your heart desires. But art is all about having fun, all about being creative. I might even have them going over one another. Now, if you get on here and you say, oh my gosh, I really like this better before I put the swirls on here, wait till it dries, take your blue, paint right over the top of it again. But you can do this any way you want. You can even add dots in here if you want to. It's totally, totally up to you. I'm just going to add some more every so often so it just really looks like kind of a busy background. And I'm even just adding lines and kind of connect them, kind of like my Starry Night behind me. So that is what we're going to do. Remember, if you don't like the swirls, if it's just too crazy, too busy, or you got too many, like I think I might have got too many on here, you can always take the blue and go back over it and get rid of them. It's acrylic paint. It's perfect. It's fun. So thank you for joining me today. I'm hoping I didn't rattle on too much because I tend to talk a lot when I do these. But I'm going to talk to Paula, see if we can do this more often. I'm going to hopefully see you again soon. Be creative. When you do art, it is a really good way to just step back from reality for a little bit and relax and have fun. So to all of you, I'm thinking about you. If you're fighting cancer, keep the fight up, ladies. Keep it up. And we will see you hopefully very soon again. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.